Today our presenter is Ben White, who is president of Lake Chapala Society. He's going to be speaking on Lake Chapala Society Community Education Programs. The programs of Lake Chapala Society are charitable contributions, charitable components of the LCS specifically designed to benefit the Mexican community. These programs are supported by more than 50 volunteers. The LCS raises 500,000 pesos annually to support these programs. Ben has served on the LCS board since 2011. Prior to joining the board, he was a volunteer teacher at the ESL program. In Denver, Ben served on the board for the Montessori Child Development Center and the collaborative decision-making team for Mitchell Montessori, a Denver public school. Ben, we welcome you. Looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you and welcome to the meeting this morning. As David said, we'll be talking about our community education programs today. And I think from the information that he shared with you, you can tell that we take very seriously this component of our mission here at Lakeside. Not everyone knows exactly what we do. I think predominantly we're thought of more as serving the gringo community, especially in the Mexican community. And part of our mission and vision here is to change that, to make sure that everyone's aware of what we're doing and who we're trying to help and the ways in which we're doing that. So I feel grateful to be able to have this opportunity to speak to this today. There's really 4 cornerstones, if you will, of our education program. It's the children's art program, the English as a second language, the Biblioteca Pública de Ajijic, and the student aid program. And those are the 4 critical ones. There are some smaller ones that run off of those, but those will be the ones that I'll be discussing today. First of all, the children's art program, and there's a lot of activity and interest, and you can see there's ways that you can contribute to that by attending Ray's movie coming up. But this was founded by Neil James in 1955. At that time, classes were offered 5 days a week after school. And each day, students would come and check out their brush and their paper. But before they could start, they had to read for 20 minutes. And they were timed by Mel James to make sure they read 20 minutes. Art materials were supplied for free, and all children from the village were welcome to attend. Some of the students that graduated from this program attended art schools in Mexico, most notably San Miguel de Allende. And many of those artists are here still working at Lake Chapala Society today. There are also, besides artists, there are people here that own art studios, that have become art teachers, and several of the same artists that we celebrate as significant to the area volunteer on Saturdays at the program today. Today, the children's art program meets here right over on the other side of the gazebo. And they serve between 50 and 70 kids each Saturday morning. Also, if you haven't looked, if you take a moment and walk over to just the other side of this building, there's a very beautiful mural that was created by local artists here. Most notably, Javier Zaragoza, Jesus Lopez Vega, and Antonio Vega, that celebrates the arts program. And when that was painted and posted on the wall here, and the community became aware of that, that actually helped boost our participation in the art program. And it celebrates several important people, not only Nell James, but Mildred Boyd, who preceded Nell James in 1994 after her death and until 2010. I would also be remiss in not mentioning that for the last 2 years there's been an art camp here at LCS in July for a full week. And that art camp, the kids get a chance to experience other mediums that they might not get a chance to work with on Saturdays that require a longer period of time. Things like working with watercolors, oil paints, paper mache, and t-shirt making. They get an opportunity to do that here for a whole week. And on Saturday, at the conclusion of the event, their wares are available for sale. And people can come here on Saturday and purchase those things. And part of that money goes to the children that are making them. So they get a feeling that art, there is a value in art above and beyond, that they can make a career out of that if they wish to do so. I also would like to, besides LCS and the art camp, I'd like to recognize the Ajijic Society for the Arts in that event. They not only contribute money to that cause, but also supply volunteers, because we get between 100 and 120 kids a day coming to that program. At this moment, I'd like to introduce Jesus Lopez Vega and ask him if he would come up for just a minute and share his insights, particularly his finding of the art program and what that's meant to him.
Sí, bueno, mi nombre es Jesús López y soy de Ajijic. My name is Jesus Lopez and I was born in Ajijic. Well, I think Ben already told about the program, but I would like to share with you some of my experience that I had when I was a child. Well, that was like, 1968, and I used to go to the lake. I almost spent all my childhood swimming in the lake with all these beautiful fishing nets and the water very clear and not much cars. And I remember that there was a big, the old-fashioned houses in Ajijic with adobe and tiles, and that house was leased by one of my grandmothers, and it was a Biblioteca Pública de Ajijic. It was back in 1968. I was like 6 years old. And I was born just a half a block from here, my mother's house. And I always hear like something going on here with a lot of kids from orphanage from Guadalajara and other places, from San Juan Cosala. And I used to hear peacocks, these big birds from the India, you know. And I was curious to look inside here, other kids also. And there was like a Chinese garden with goldfish, a lot of huge bird cage from very different species of birds. And it was her house here, Neil James' house. And I was curious to go to my grandmother's house because it was very silent in the front. And I was looking through the windows, and as I entered to the room, I saw a whole bunch of paintings on the wall and on the tables. And I said, well, I was curious to see what was going on there, because back in the backyard, I can hear some humors of kids. And I have more or less an idea what was happening there. So here I am inside the room, and everybody is quiet. And there was a lady reading a newspaper. I just see her fingertips on the side of the newspaper. But I was trying to sneak out to the backyard. And then she put the paper down, and there was a lady with white hair and glasses. And she was a librarian. She was an old lady, probably, I don't know, 60 years old or something. Well, I was 6 years old then. And she says, she used to work for New James. That was Angelita Aldana, see? And she says, okay, she knew that I was pretending to run in the backyard, But she says, okay, you go and you wash your hands and your face and take out your slingshot from your neck. And I have wearing my huaraches, Mexican shoes. And I went to the bathroom and I cleaned my face, my hands, and my slingshot and put it in my packet. And she says, okay, you have to read first or make your homework. I'm almost starting to read in school. And I say, okay, so you grab a book from the shelf, okay? And I just look around, big book, science, literature, art, in Spanish. It was a Mexican library. And I pull out a science book. And I said, wait a minute, you have to put a newspaper underneath first. And you have it upside down, so, okay? Don't put saliva in your fingers, okay? And just, okay. So, only letters, and I was trying to see figures, And I opened the book, and I saw a monkey turning to a man. And it's Charles Darwin. Oh, okay. Probably my mom will like that from the church. Oh. And then, but that I look at the faces of these men. And, well, look at that. It's turning to the man standing up with some kind of a big stick, like this. And then I turned over and only letters, and I was just looking at the watch because I knew how to look at the time. And you have to pull other book because she saw that I was trying to do others, and then I saw another different species of birds, And I was interested because those were my first decent books that I was looking at. Anyways, so then after that, she gave me a piece of paper. And she said, you go with a small group, with the ones that paint with crayons. And there were 2 groups, okay? And then I started doing my drawings of crayons, and probably like 10 kids, And the other group it was bigger. And probably like in a month I was with the other guys, see? And there I can see a teacher. It was the time of Javier Zaragoza. They came from San Miguel Allende, see? And there was this other guy, Antonio Cardenas, Javier Zaragoza, and many of them. So there were already teachers from that class. And it was interesting because I can see a variety, different styles. It was interesting. I'm writing a book about that, It was interesting because I can see different styles. I didn't read all this art, kind of surrealist and abstract, nothing of that. But I can see different kind of landscapes with the different kind of schools in a way. So that was interesting for me. So ever since then I've been painting all my life. I'm now 52, so I've been painting since I was 7 years old. Then when I went to the States, I had a visa. I graduated junior high school in Los Angeles, and I don't really want to say that, but I was #1 in painting and art. It was Mr. Stepp, that was my teacher, and the principal talked to me, and she says, well, would you like to do a mural in the school? The same mural that I designed a yearbook from the junior high school. So I did it. So that was part of my experience. Now, after Neil James died, we took over, Mildred and I, and Richard Warmowski, we took over the children's art program, thanks to them, and that's how we restarted the program again. I can say that I was one of the founders of the Centro Cultural Ajijic, which is not working properly. It's part of the process, I guess. But anyways, in a way, the Centro Cultural is an echo for the children's art program, because all the group of We Get It, we were part of the children's art program. So it's been working now. So now we have plans to do the museum. We have 5 collections of pre-Columbian art from Ajijic, plus this collection that we have from the children's art program. We have something to identify Ajijic as a historical. Ajijic, I think, is very important collection, because it's the life of Ajijic through the children's, through the paintings of kids, and it's like part of the history now of Ajijic. So I think we deserve to work now in our next project in long term. After all these things going on with the municipal all over Mexico anyways, so that will happen. So our next goal is the museum from Ajijic. Okay? Muchas gracias.
Jesus. Because of Jesus and the art program and all the people that have come out of that over the course of the years, Ajijic is known now as an artist colony. And he's absolutely right that we should celebrate that with a museum that celebrates all the art that has happened here. I will mention that there are 3,000 pieces of art that are in our collection. Salud. And that we hope to someday find a permanent place for that collection. So if you have a moment, take a look, and you haven't seen it, take a look at the mural around the back that celebrates the program. The second foundational piece of this community education program is our English as a second language. And the LCS has been teaching English as a second language. It was called something else in 1955, from its inception, when it was a small storefront in Chapala. And kids would come there and want to learn English from English language speakers. When the society moved to this place in 1983, the program continued here on the grounds. And we had a lot more of a integration piece, if you will, because we had kids coming here, their families coming to pick them up and back, and then the members here. And it was a little bit different place than what it looked like right now. In 1999, the society acquired Ed Wilkes' home on Galeana numero 18, and the English language program relocated there. Today there are 250 plus or minus students that are in the program. Some years we've had as many as 300. The program's for free. The students are just asked to buy their books, which is about 320 pesos. To give a feel for what that costs, if you were to delivering that program in Guadalajara, 4 weeks of instruction is 156 pesos per week. So I think it's a very good value, and it's perceived by that way by the participants. Not only for the cost, but they believe, we've talked about buying the books, and there's been discussion back and forth, should we do it, should they not be paying for it? And part of the discussion revolves around, when you have to pay for something, you value it. And and we talked to the students, and they have told us that they don't mind paying for the books, because they do get an excellent value out of it with the program that we offer and being delivered by English language speaking individuals. Every April, this is a 8-month-long program, and it's divided into, basically the only weeks for this program is a month at Christmas, and I think it's 3 weeks at Easter, Semana Santa. 2 weeks, so it's a very long and intensive program. And every April, on this spot, there's a graduation ceremony where the students and the families all come to here, and they are recognized and for their success of what they have accomplished, and hopefully encouraged to continue on to the next level here at the LCS. It's funny, just anecdotally, a lot of, when I speak to people in restaurants or other places, I'll often ask, you know, where did you learn your English? And the most popular place is, I lived in Estados Unidos, Tres Años or whatever it is. But many of them will tell me that I learned it at the biblioteca. So it is, a lot of kids are getting a benefit out of this. At this moment, I'd like to invite Carol Bowman, who is a longtime instructor at the English language program, to speak a little bit about her perspective and some of the benefits that she sees.
Good morning. Ironically, today marks the 9th anniversary of my teaching English as a second language at the Wilkes Education Center for Lake Chapala Society. During that time, including 3 years, I doubled as program director and teacher. Hundreds of anecdotes of successes of students and personal interactions that I have had with them that have touched my heart just float around in my mind. You know, volunteering for this program requires a great deal of commitment and time and effort to lesson plan, and also the most important thing though is being there to help these students who are learning a second language as adults, because we teach adults. And for those of you who are learning Spanish, we all know the frustrations of trying to learn a second language. So it's very important that we are there for them. I now teach level 4, and I have 17 students. They range in age from 15 to 72. And 13 of these students started with me as their teacher years ago in level 1. And we have moved together as a class, we have grown, and we have developed a bond that likens to a family. Actually, it's much better than a real family, because you don't have all the baggage that comes with a real family. It's just all good with these students. It is such a give and take of culture and language and personal interactions. And you know, 2 of my students have gotten married to each other. I have been invited to their children's quinceañeras. I've had them to my home for dinner, and they have had me to theirs. And they have learned how to share all their personal dramas and life happenings in English. And the entire class has a bond that has enriched my life as an expatriate here beyond my imagination. I'd like to share 2 little stories with you that might give you an idea of how we as ESL teachers have had an impact on the Mexican community, and how they as students have enriched our experiences. Many years ago, I had a student named Oscar, and he worked in a local furniture store. And Oscar studied relentlessly because he said that he needed to be able to interact with his English-speaking clients. So recently, my husband and I went into that furniture store, and there was Oscar. And I hugged him and I said, "Oh, Oscar, I can't believe you still work at this store." And he stood back very proudly and he said, "Teacher," they always call you teacher forever, because it's a sign of respect for them, really. They will call me teacher forever. But anyhow, he said, "Teacher, I don't just work at this store. I now own this store. And the reason I do is because I can speak English." So when you realize that you acted as just a small vehicle in somebody's success, it's really rewarding. The other story is a little bit more personal in nature, and it touched my heart so deeply I'll never forget it. My husband sustained a very serious eye injury, and he needed emergency surgery. And we had to be at the hospital in Guadalajara at 6:30 a.m. My students knew about this because I had to cancel class. So while I was sitting in the waiting room, waiting 3 hours for this operation to get over, in walks two of my students, a husband and wife, and they carried a basket of breakfast goodies for me. Orange juice and muffins and love and support. And I don't think that my own family in Pennsylvania would have come close to offering me that much generosity, and it was just an incredible moment for me to realize that we had made such a bond that they can come and help me. So I hope that these two little stories give you a small peek into what it means to be an ESL teacher here. The classes, the student, the program, they have given me a sense of community, and they have given me an anchor here. And I have an adopted family. And so all I have done for them is to be able to do all of that in English. So I just want you to know that I can't imagine my life here in Mexico without them. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. As a side note, my wife and I also taught for 2 years, as Dave mentioned. And boy, it was a lot of work to get ready for 2 classes a week. You spend as much time preparing as you actually did the class. But when we left every day, like, we just looked at each other and said, boy, wasn't that great? And wasn't that Rosario did this? And Eduardo did that? And it was just, you really get something, you get a lot out of it. So Carol's right, thanks. The third piece of our foundation of 4 is the Biblioteca Pública de Ajijic. And again, as Jesus mentioned, this was founded in 1956 by Neil James at her home, and it was primarily a Spanish library for books. She hired a part-time librarian that Jesus mentioned, Angelita Aldona Padilla, and she was the librarian and also taught art as well, and you'll see her picture on the mural also. In 1999, the Biblioteca was relocated with the ESL program to Galeana de Ocho, and is currently staffed by a full-time manager and assistant, and is open from 9:30 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9:30 to 1 on Saturday. There's also an internet connection there. We have computers, and we're actively engaged in trying to get a computer training classes running there. They have about 4,000 books there, and in addition to some magazines and reference materials. And about 30 students at any one given time may be there checking out books, studying, and preparing for their own school. And a lot of the schools here don't have as many books as they need. So this kind of augments what's happening with the public education program here. We are looking at ways to increase the utilization of the Biblioteca. And the 3 things we're looking at right now, and like I said, coordinating with schools, do a better job of that so we know what they need, so we can provide the resources that will be helpful to the students. We're looking at a reading program in concert with the Children's Art Program, because everybody knows that reading, not only for young children, not only increases their vocabulary, but helps them as they move forward into school. So we're hoping to do that, as well as get more computer classes going for middle school and high school kids here. Last but not least is the student aid program. And the last folks that were introduced here at the back are all students that participated in the program and graduated here. The program started, I think, in 1990 with 6 scholarships. Today, we're supporting 40 students that are either in tech or universidades in Guadalajara. The tech here, most of them are doing the tech work here. To qualify, the applicant must demonstrate financial need. This is an aid program for those who couldn't afford to otherwise go. We want to see family support to help them realize their goals. We want them to show a passion for achievement. And they must live here in Ajijic. And finally, once they're admitted to the program, to stay in the program, they have to maintain a grade point average of 8.5 or better to stay. For next year, we budgeted 340,000 pesos for this program alone to help these students move forward in college. As I have with the other programs, I'd like to introduce Luzina. Can you come forward, please? She is one of our original students. I believe she started in the program in 1994. And I'd like for her to talk just a little bit about her experience in the program and what that's meant to her life.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Luz Elena again. I am from San Juan Posala. I was born in 1979. When I was a young shy girl, I met to Coralie White, who invited me, she and her friends, to the LCS program when I was at the secondary school. I was so happy because in that time it was very difficult to me study and support my studies. But I was very happy because I have a new opportunity to study, and I thought I did very well. And she can talk with you and give me the reason. When I complete that time, I went to the setback preparatory school here in Jocotepec. I was since 1996 to 1999, and after I went to the University of Guadalajara, I decided to study exact science, chemical, pharmacy, and biology. I passed 4 years there, and after I was invited to the setback again, but now to work as a teacher, and I teach chemistry, biology, biochemistry, and different kind of environment. And after I decided to study a master degree in microbiology science, food safety at the University of Guadalajara. And I feel now like a complete woman. I am strong, I am more happy, and I want to be in other level. I want to study maybe another degree, but maybe in another country. That is my next goal, I think. And I want to give the thanks to all of you because you support me and my friends, because I knew different friends in different subjects. Some of them are now architects, are teachers, are engineering, and I want to share that if you don't how do you say? if you don't support, if you don't support all my career, I was in other place, but I have to give the thanks because now I am here to share this important part of my life. And thank you for make me a special woman and improvement my professional life and my personal life. Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn English like a second language, and give me this facility to express by myself. And I hope you understood everything I talked with you. Thank you very much.
He does an excellent job. Thank you very much. We don't have enough time, but there are other students that are here today that I would like to recognize. And maybe you, as I say your name, maybe you could stand. Juan Pablo, now study law. Francisco, could you come up for it, please? Francisco is now an architect. Gabby, could you come up, please? Gabby is now an art teacher here in the school. Brian, would you come? I'm sorry. Ricardo, please come up. Ricardo. These are all students that have gone through the student aid program. And Carol Lee, would you come up, please? Thank you. And Coralie was the coordinator during the third time that they came. Coralie was working in this program from 1992 to 2012. So there's been a number of kids that she's impacted over the years. So let's give her a big hand too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you, Ricardo.
All these students, they have worked very
Give her a
hard.
mic.
They have
Hold on.
very good,
Here you go.
we will be very proud of all of them. They tried very, very, very hard. They are very successful in their lives now. They have a new path in life now, thanks to all the help that we received from LCS. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Coralie, as well. Go ahead. Okay, so I think we have a few minutes for questions or comments, if there's any that I can help with.
Are there questions? Okay, we'll get a mic back to you. The back first. 1 second. Okay, we'll get to you. Okay, the question in the back.
Two things. Can you buy tickets today for the movie about the program?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. See that whole hand in the air? That's your ticket.
And the second thing is...
First thing is, we don't sell the tickets on the site here, so that would be off campus.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll be out in the
Next
street.
Next question.
She'll be at the gate right out here, so there's plenty of tickets.
Very, very
Allá en la calle.
Calle.
Okay.
The second thing I wanted to say is that the children's art program will be selling cards, which are 25 pesos, of which some of the proceeds goes to the child, today at the Arts and Crafts Fair, which is right after this, 12 to 3 o'clock.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up.
Someone is
Stand up, please.
showing these, We have Christmas cards as well.
They're
They're
fabulous
beautiful.
cards. They're fabulous cards, and in the back it gives the artist's name, age, and the program. They're wonderful to use.
The beautiful cards, the
Right
author
here.
or the artist and on the back. Okay, are there more
Okay.
questions? Okay,
All right. I've been with the program
Thank
for
you.
about 17 years.
thank you, Roberta. Thank you very much. A question, please, in the back.
I just wanted to follow up on Carol Bowman's presentation. I had an opportunity to teach at Wilkes for 2 years, and I stepped in. Carol gave me some training classes. I sat in her class, and so I was able to continue on for someone who had a medical emergency and had to leave in the middle of his year. 8 months is what, as Carol mentioned. But periodically, they do need English teachers, and you don't have to have a lot of experience. The workbooks are very explicit. There isn't a lot of preparation, and I encourage some of you to check with Carol periodically. They do need teachers throughout the years. As mentioned before, there's family emergencies, medical emergencies, and it's a wonderful, rewarding program, and not only that, it'll help you to improve your Spanish. So please consider that. Thank you.
If that were phrased as a question, it would be to Ben and say, Ben, how do they sign up if they want to teach?
That's a great question, thank you. If you want to sign up, you have 2 roads to go. You can go to the main office here at the LCS, or you can speak to Maria at the Biblioteca, and either one of those people can help you get started. And she's right, we do need teachers, and you don't need experience. You just need to give it a go and try. I had no experience teaching, and it worked great.
Okay, here in the middle, thanks.
I'm Dee Dee Kim. Hi, I'm coordinating some of these programs now. I'm coordinating some of these programs. I just wanted to give you an update that the reading program is now going on. It is being coordinated by 2 students from the International Institute. And it's every Saturday morning from 9:15 to almost 10, right before the art classes. And the other program that is just starting, Sandy Britton is starting it, and it will be this Monday, people will be signing up for the computer classes in Spanish.
Thank you. Sandy, will you stand up so they can recognize you, please? Miss Sandy? Okay. Questions? Other questions?
Hi, I have several neighbors who are trying to better themselves, and I'm the University Aid Program. I'm not interested in seeking funding, but our problem as I'm trying to help them out is they don't know how to navigate the system. They don't know what they need to do in PREPA to be ready for university. They don't know how to apply. Is there any resource, not needing any money, but just any resource to help them with that? They don't have any family that's ever done it.
Okay. I can talk to you offline afterwards. I have 2 people that possibly can help you with that. One might be Coralie, who's here right now, and the other, her last name is Baxter. Her first name escapes me. Pat Baxter, but she's very active in that area as well, and I can certainly pass her contact information along.
Okay. Are there more questions?
If you know anybody interested in the computer classes, they can sign up in the office at the Wilkes.
Okay, thank you. Jim, we got one up here. Okay.
We're just moving, and so
Hold it close and talk.
we're just moving here, and yesterday and last night we were working until dark. We have lived in Mexico for 16 years. My husband was on the board for 6 years in Guadalajara, and we volunteered our services. I had to go searching for some way that I could give back to the Mexican people because I love it here so much. And I went to the American Consulate. I'm Canadian, but that doesn't matter. But anyway, I found something that I could give the people. And I'm so impressed with all the effort and the attendance and the recognition and the self-gratification that I'm hearing. And I'm so sorry that we're that tired, but we wobbled over here so that we could hear this because I wanted to know what the programs were like.
Thank you very much.
And where we're going to fit in.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'd be happy to talk to you offline afterwards.
We have another?
I just want all the people that have been working on this program that we can get together after this meeting, because I live over there. San Cristobal and San Luis have a need. They would like me to teach English. They would also like me to help them communicate and get into schooling, higher schooling. I already have one young lady in San Cristobal that I was able to get into the English class here. I would like to have more backing and more information that we can coordinate, that we can help each other.
May I suggest that those of you that are working with English as a second language, would you stand up briefly so you can connect up with each other and sort of create this supportive community for one group? Okay? Okay? If you help with
Please stand so
please stand so we can see
you're
you.
quite visible.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you for your work too. Thank you.
And thank you.
Okay, Jim, you wanted to make an announcement yourself?
Well, one of the things that sometimes I'm not able to read the email addresses or names on the sign-up sheet. I would particularly like to identify Jenny Hunter. Would you please raise your hand? Okay. I need to see you because I have your name on multiple things and you're not receiving them apparently. So if there's anyone else, there was 2 or 3 names from last week that I couldn't quite make out. One of the reasons was the pen gave out of ink. So if you didn't get it, please let me know, and I'll do what it takes.
I have one last announcement that I would like to make. As we go out to the front of the LCS here, there is a arts and crafts fair going on now of local artists here at LCS in the Ajijic area that are distributing, are displaying and selling their work. And we also, in a few minutes, will have a book fair sale as well, right here in the sala. So as you're going out, if you want to take a minute and walk that way, you'll see them set up, and that's something that you might be interested in looking at as well.
Do we need to take the chairs away?
Yes.
No, yes, you can take the chairs away, yes.
The bookstore will be open after we put the chairs away. We want to thank you, Ben, for your program. It was excellent. Thank you very much.
If there's anyone else that would like to talk to me about interest in the program or education with LCS, I'll be around for a while in the back, and we can certainly chat at that time.
Okay, please stack your cell phones and put your chairs on top of each other. Thank you for coming. See you next week.